Hello, it's Wednesday, November the 30th, and it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There's been a lot happening. I guess you can see that I'm not having a good day today, but that's okay. I have a lot of different kinds of issues with respect to my autoimmune illness that makes one day, it's like, I feel sometimes like Forrest Gump saying, hello, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Well, that's the way it is for me. I never know when I'm going to be having a good day physically or a bad day. I know that my mood sometimes is impacted a lot by my autoimmune. It impacts my physical health a lot. So that's something a lot of people miss when they get diagnosed with a catastrophic illness, is that there's all kinds of things that you need to be all kinds of balls you need to juggle in order to be able to cope and be a productive person for whatever that is to you. I mean, and 20 years of dealing with it, 20 plus years now of dealing with it. Actually, I've probably been dealing with it all my life, but I didn't know it. Anyway, that gets me on a tangent. I know I keep saying it's not a political channel because it's not supposed to be, but I allowed myself to watch some real news after the inquiry just to sort of get up to speed with what's happening. And I'm really thinking Alberta might be a beak of lightning for the rest of Canada, as provincially speaking anyway, because the provincial government systems are starting to understand that they do have some rights, and a lot more rights than the government, the federal government seems to think that they are entitled to. And Alberta's plan seems like a great plan to me, and I hope that more provinces come up with a resolution that they put to their parliamentary systems to keep the government overreach from being what it is. Because, frankly, when you have a puppet government like we're currently experiencing here in Canada, and it's obviously so because none of these people seem to know what they're doing. I mean, if the inquiry proved nothing else, it proved that. I mean, whatever side of the fence you might be on as far as the rally was concerned, or the protesters, whether you consider it a protest or an illegal occupation, whatever, the government used a hammer to kill a fly, and he did it because it was an overuse of power that they should never have used for something like a protest of its own people. They used this extraordinary measure against their own people. Think about that. What government goes against their own people? I could tell you one. China. Look at what's going on in China right now. I mean, I know that China is Mr. Trudeau's hero establishment and dictatorship, and they know what to do with it. A good dictatorship can get the job done. Well, right now it's chaos in the streets. It's the tinderbox finally. Somebody lit a match in an apartment building, and all those poor people died at the hands of their government because it was their government that welded them into that apartment building. And they died because the fire department didn't know whether or not they had permission to save them. That's sad. Is that the kind of country we want to become? No. But I know those beautiful people, those poor people who are taken to the streets. These are kind, beautiful, loving people who don't want to demonstrate because they are afraid of their lives. They have reason not to want to demonstrate, and yet they are. And I'm begging the world to see what they're doing. Watch what China has been doing to their people that have endured so much in these modern times. We ignored what happened to them during World War II. We ignored what was happening to them, and we used them when it was politically and financially prudent to do it prior to World War II. And then we abandoned them. People are just people, no matter what country they live in. And they each deserve the right to live free. And those of us who've been living in a free environment all of our lives take things for granted and expect that people will do the right thing. Well, unfortunately, if even the recent history of the world hasn't shown us that that's not true. It's the powerful that use people to kill each other and sit by and benefit. In Canada, we can do something by demonstrating with our education that we have and the freedoms that we have, because Mr. Trudeau's government cannot take them all away from us. Mr. Ford, wake up. You're supposed to be a conservative, fool. Stop doing the government's bidding and start legislating rules to keep the government out of provincial business. And let's make the RCMP beholden to the government system of the province that they work in, not the government. Because we don't want another FBI, do we? Come on. Let's use our heads, people. And let's pray. If you're a prayerful person, please pray for those poor victims of tyranny in China. They have never been given an opportunity to have the choices that they want for the individual. The individual doesn't matter there. Even the Pope threw in with the Chinese government. What is wrong with this world? When we can't celebrate our masses, even for a pandemic, especially in a pandemic, really, when you think about it, because God, to people that believe in Him, is in charge of our lives, not our government, not our pharmaceutical companies, and not the World Health Organization. If that's not as necessary as a hospital, which, by the way, in Canada, weren't allowed to treat anything other than COVID. Think about that. If you want an answer to excess deaths, look into that. But Canadians don't know how many people have died as a result of not receiving the proper health care that they're supposed to over the last 3 years. I don't know what's going on with this world, but I know it's wrong. And you don't need to be a Christian. You don't need to be a Muslim. You don't need to be a Buddhist. You don't need to be a humanist. You don't need to be anything other than a person made in the image and likeness of God, who has a free will and who's uniquely skilled to do the thing that you were meant to do on this planet. And if your conscience is bothering you and your stomach is turning, there's a reason for it. Please, for the love of God, contact your MP and your MPP and let them know that you're watching and you want things done to protect the individual right of each and every Canadian citizen. I love you all and have a good day. And I'm praying for us all, because that's one of the only things that I sometimes feel well enough to do. And I'm hoping that I'm able to reach somebody that can do something more than just talk and journal the last few decades, hopefully. If it's decades, God willing. I don't know, maybe it might be tomorrow, based on what's been going on with my health lately. You never know what's going to happen. All I know is that I'm grateful to have been born, have the privilege of being born in a country like Canada when I was born in 1962. And my conscience is bothering me because I didn't do enough when I was out in the working world to try to stop what was happening to us in this country and our laws and our freedoms and our children. And in the span of my lifetime, wow, are we ever in a soup? And the only way to get out of the soup is to realize that hiding from it isn't going to help. Love your neighbor. Love your children. And build a better future that you know is a better future, not that somebody who wants to make money off of you says is a better future, where you don't have to own anything. That's weird. If nobody should own anything, why do they own so much? I'm just wondering. God bless you all. Have a good day. And I'll be in touch again. God love you. Bye.